I'm going to make a pot of what I hope is actually an authentic pot of chili. From what I've searched out, it would appear to be, except for I am using half mince and half chunks of beef. They don't actually have mince so much in Mexico, but I did want to kind of give myself the best chance of making it as stewy, as thick and chili like as possible without adding tomato paste, because they don't use tomato in their chili in Mexico. They do in Tex-Mex, but I'm striving to achieve as close as possible to what I would actually be making in Mexico and still have it thick enough. I think people are generally accustomed to a certain depth, if you get my meaning, in their food. So I've got my Dutch oven out. And I'm going to add lard. The same lard that I use to season the pot, I'm going to use to cook. This time, I just thought I'd try it. It seems to make sense to me. It seems somewhat logical. So that's what I'll do. So I'll add a bit of lard and let that heat up. And I am still going to try not to make the video excessively long, as I've been doing lately, but they still seem to come out a bit long, and I guess that's simply the way it is. I don't know how to do things like fast forwarding my video, etc. And I'm not really interested in that, because I have no interest in doing this other than just for you guys. I do this for me, to show you how I spend my time at home, but I have no interest in being monetized. So I'm not trying to do a lot of fancy editing or anything, but I am also aware that half-hour long videos are probably not what you guys have time to watch. So I'm just going to, okay, that's about melted, so I'm going to put this in first. No paper underneath. And whilst that's sizzling and browning, I'll clean my hands and pause this. Okay, the mince has, it was still a bit frozen, so it's loosened up a bit. So I'm going to add the chunks of beef. And now I'll let all of that brown, and then when I'm ready to do the next steps, I'll come back. And I'm still working on corn tortillas. I think I'm getting close, but I'll have to order a new comal. I think I've tried so many times with so many fails that the surface has been damaged and now everything just sticks to it. So I'm going to get a new one, and I'll keep trying with that so that I can then make some authentic tacos. and I have a man to whom I speak about these things. He's Mexican himself. He's here in the UK with an ex-grocer, but he sells things online which I buy from him. And he explained to me a bit about nachos and how they're not actually Mexican food, but some of the young people up north, it's kind of a grey thing, but it's not actually Mexican food. However, there is a valid point to the fact that, and he didn't say this part, but there's a valid point to the fact that because of all of the things that people try to load onto them, what people get in the supermarkets that they call taco shells, those are not, or they don't use hard shells in Mexico at all, but those tortillas, you can see through them. You can put your finger up behind them and see right through them. So they're not going to last with what people like to load onto their nachos. So I'm going to be going through all of that as well. And there are just so many different things that I want to make. And this is why I actually started doing these videos, because I was making different foods, telling my friends about them, and you guys were like, I want to see. So this is why I make these videos, because I do have a passion for authentic foods. So anyway, I'll come back later when I'm doing the next stages of this, but I just wanted to update you on, I am still working on the tortillas. It's not as easy as they make it look, but I think I'm almost there. Someone who watched my tortilla fail video was kind enough to refer me to Rachel Cook's. She said she chills it for half an hour, the dough, and I can't remember. I have to go back and look at Juanita's video to see if she did that. I'm not sure. I haven't seen her video in so long, but I am trying. I'm grateful for any little hints, and I am trying to get it done, and I think I'm getting close. It's just a matter of figuring out why they won't puff up like this. But one of them puffed up a little bit, so I know I'm getting close, but it's a work in progress. So anyway, I'll be back. Okay, the meat is browning. It's not meant to cook right the way through just yet. So I'm going to put a cup of chopped white onions, and a couple of handfuls of bell peppers. Opinion varies on the bell peppers, but it's used often enough for me to go with it. Not too many. And a bit of Mexican oregano, and there is a difference in flavour. So I'm just going to put in a spoonful of that, or two. Let that out from the steam. I'm going to use some tahini seasoning. Oh, I haven't opened this one yet, have I? Or have I? Yes, I have. Okay. And it has salt in it. Let that air out. Some sliced jalapenos. Bearing in mind that I like things spicy. No, that's jalapenos. I thought I'd gotten out the serranos. I'll get those later. Some sweet Conti peppers. gotten a tin of the serranos. I'll have to get this exchanged. I got jalapenos instead. Some of those upper cupboards are a bit difficult sometimes, but at least I can still reach them. That's good. Okay. And these, I'm just going to add a couple. Just for flavour. And I'll store this later. And now I'm going to add a bit of garlic because that's what I like. And I haven't exactly seen that it's unacceptable to use garlic. But I really think that in the same way that I learned all of the little details about Cajun cookery from being there, learning from the actual people themselves, I think that I would only get true cookery if I were there in Mexico. I got as far as the border once, but it was taking hours to get through the border for whatever reason, and we thought maybe they're just having some kind of problems, so we turned around and left because we'd been in the border, in the queue at the border for hours just waiting to go through the checkpoint, and it just didn't seem a very good idea to keep waiting. We would have gotten there at nightfall, and that would have been when we were planning on being back, so we just didn't go, and then I never got another opportunity. But I think, again, you have to not be a tourist, you have to go and be, get deep into the land and be among the grandmothers who make this food and learned from their grandmothers, etc. It just adds a greater depth to what you're doing. But as I'm not able to do that anymore, well, there you have it. So now I'm going to stir this in and cook that for a while, and then I'll be back. I am now going to add a bit of water with the salt-free beef stock, salt-free beef stock cubes. Because it's such lean meat, there's not any water for it to cook in, so whilst it finishes simmering for a while, I'm going to add just enough water to, you can hear it simmering now, and now I'll just let that cook down to a good thick simmer. It's quite a meaty dish actually, as you can tell, and I don't know if that's why Some people like to add the tomato paste, but I want to taste it this way. I want to do it without all of that stuff and see how it goes. There's also, a lot of people do put grated cheese and things like that, which for Tex-Mex, that's, yeah. But apparently, from what I've been able to glean, cheese is not a huge thing in the deepest reaches of Mexico itself. So, I don't know, I'll just see how it tastes and what I want to do. But at least I'll have cooked it as closely as possible to the authentic way. And I might learn more about how it's actually done. Being honest, the only people who actually know are the people who live there. So hopefully this will turn out all right. I'll be back. Now, it's not... I gather that the point behind the tomato paste that I've seen some use is, as I had said, perhaps the thickening. But I thought, as it doesn't look as though it's thickening as such, I would just use a slurry of cornstarch and water, and I think everyone knows how to make that. So I'll just put that there, and stir that in. And that should only need to simmer a little while longer. That's already thickening up a bit. That's already getting some consistency to it, which is nice. So I'm going to let this simmer just a bit longer. It's not going to be much longer. It will be completely done, and then I can dish up a bowl of it and show you what it looks like. Okay, I think we're done, and I'm going to dish it up. It's not going to look like what we might be accustomed to chili looking like, but that's the point. I wanted to get what it's actually supposed to look like. And I think a lot of times with us, what we tend to do is think about our expectations. This is by no means the end product, because I'm hopeful that, being that YouTube is global, there might be some people, just like the woman who suggested Rachel cooks, what they do with something. There might be other people who might make respectful and helpful suggestions as to what in Mexico they're actually doing. I think that would be brilliant if someone who is actually Mexican would watch this. Maurizio at Mexigrocer has been so helpful, and he promised that he would watch and see what he thinks. So yeah, it's always welcome, because I want to make certain that I do in the end make this the way it's supposed to be. So I don't expect this to be the one and only chili video at all. It's different from with the African dishes that I made at the beginning. I had a Nigerian woman teaching me, so it was quite easy to make those. And I'm hoping to get some authentic advice as to how to improve. But this does smell delicious, and it looks all right. It doesn't. I had one person whose video I was watching, and since I'm not copying his recipe, I won't mention him, but I'll think about leaving a link, because he is one of the people I watched about chili, and I've kind of taken something from everyone. But he said that some people even put saltine crackers, is what they have in North America. We have other kinds of crackers, but sometimes they put those in there. So there's all sorts of things that can be achieved, and I've actually got a recipe. I've been working on making my own crackers. So there are things coming up, and this does smell so good. I do want to try it. All of the peppers that I added, the flavour is fabulous. Just the right amount of zing, but I like things spicy. And I've eaten habanero peppers whole, raw, and said, yeah, that's nice. So you get the idea of how spicy. So to me, this is gorgeous. If you do choose to try this, adjust it to what you like. But I love this. And I don't do mukbangas real. Jenny did ask if I would do that with her soups, which is why I did. But I don't really make these to necessarily eat them in front of you. I just show you what I'm doing. And you guys get that. I mean, I did that for her, but and if I make her recipes again, I know she likes that, so I'll do that for her. But otherwise, I'm just cooking and sewing. I've got a necklace coming up. It is so complex that I'm having to work to get it just right, and I've been working on it for weeks. When I show it you, though, I'm just going to show you the last part, because all of the rest of it you'll see how it's done, and otherwise it would be too long. But yeah, I've got other things coming, so but this was nice, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.